things. One, you do have to have an idea, whatever that idea is, and you begin to move on it. And yes, you want people to be with you. And you want to encourage people, and you want to hold people accountable that your brothers and sisters said they're going to stand by you, that people in your community said they're going to do this, that a particular organization or nonprofit said they're going to spend money a particular way. So you want to hold people accountable, and you want to be ready to move by yourself. Because that's what leaders do. Because if you're not moving by yourself, if you're not walking in front of something, then you're not part of you're not really leading. You might be walking in a drill team line. Or you might be standing behind somebody at the check cashing line. I use a lot of check cashing now. But you're not necessarily leading. And I think that it's important for us to recognize that sometimes you do it on your own. And that's okay, because if you're doing it for the betterment of other people, then you don't need to get accolades. And you don't need to get applause. You simply need to do the hard work, because you never know the influence that you have on somebody. Dwight has no idea that I'm going to say this. Years ago, I met Dwight. Dwight came up to me at a screening and was like, hey, I really liked your film, and I want to make a show too. I want to make my own television show. And I was like, really, little boy? And he was like, I want to make my own television show because I want to speak about my community, and while I loved your film, The Ski Trip, I just felt like everyone in it was old.
They were.
And so I remember having a conversation with Dwight, and I said, if that's really what you want to do, you should do it. And no matter what, you don't stop. Make your show, do your thing. Fast forward years later, Dwight has done that show, has moved on to a second show. Who knew that 5 years later I would be the founder of a television network, and that we'd strike a deal with Dwight for both of his TV shows to be seen nationwide. Because you never know how your dream, how your moment, how your motivation, how even your struggle and your failure inspires somebody else. So don't be afraid to do it on your own. Don't be afraid to be bold. Don't be afraid to be crazy or insane, because those are the people that get the big deals. So I mean, it's weird. I think you have to start for the group thing, and you go for the gusto, and then you got to be prepared, at the end of that sprint race to make it a marathon and do what you got to do till you cross the finish line.
Right.
Truly almost did not make it. My father flew in. My mother was at my bedside every day for 4 weeks, and they didn't think that I was going to make it. And coming out of that, having a new opportunity, I began to think about what's genuinely important for me, and remembering that somebody had told me that no one can tell your story. And so if you don't do it, you can't expect anyone else to. And so the blessing, the opportunity I've had with this new endeavor, with this television network, is about telling stories and allowing and creating a platform for other people to tell their stories. But you don't need a television network to do that. You don't need a celebrity to do that. You don't need a book endorsement, and you don't need a keynote speaker to tell you that you're okay. What you need is to be able to look in the mirror and realize that your voice is important, that your story has value, and that you have merit in this world. So for me, if there were any lasting thoughts, I would say, go out there today and be yourself. Not an imitation of who you are, not what someone else wants you to be, not even what your parents expect you to be, but be you, and be genuinely you. Be the best you that you can be. Be so much of you that people are sick of you. It's what I would say to each and every one of you guys out there today. So I want to thank Darlene and Gregory, who are always so constant and who always make sure this happens no matter what the dollars are, no matter what the commitments are, or lack of commitments are, they're here. So I'm honored by the work that you guys do, and most of all, I'm honored by each and every one of you.